Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Talk Football Live, and it's great to be here again with my co-presenter, co-host, co-anchor, whatever it is. Welcome back, Ayo. Welcome back,
Hello.
Charles. Welcome back, myself, and welcome for the very first time to Talk Football Live, Akintayo. We're glad to have you.
Hi, nice to be here.
Thank you, welcome. So this weekend we're going to be looking, we just returned back from the FA Cup, so we had a break, and we are back to talk about the games for this weekend, kicking off with the Chelsea Fulham game. But the highlight of the weekend is the Spurs versus City game, which I think is going to be a great game. So that's going to be the one that we're going to probably spend our time discussing. Then we'll probably after that, then we'll talk about the Chelsea Fulham game and we'll run through the list of the remaining games for the week. So, gentlemen, I'm going to throw it to you, and I will start with you, Hayo. Spurs versus City. A whole lot of news happened. I don't want to take our time spending time on the transfer deadline. A whole lot of movement happened in the market, and I'm sure that you guys were shocked the same way I was, seeing that Cancelo left City to go to Bayern Munich. We saw a lot of business done. We saw a lot of incomings and outgoings. We didn't see a lot of business done on the sports side. But I think Danjuma came. So I'm going to turn to you, Ayo. What should we expect? Is Danjuma and the other, changes going to give us Spurs some lifeline here? And what do you expect to see against our City when they play?
So let's look at the business that was done, right? I think the biggest shock for me was them selling Doherty out, considering Doherty has had a good season so far. And he was actually sent to Atletico on a free, which even made the sale even more surprising. And then they brought in Pedro Porro, who will supposedly, I guess, battle Emerson Royal for that right wing spot, or right wing back, as it were. So that was rather surprising for me. I don't know how much game time Danjuma is going to get. And on the whole, I think this game will probably it will come too early for Spurs to make a difference. I don't know if you all are aware, Conte had surgery during the week and is going to be away from the sidelines for a bit. So with those main factors, Conte being out, I don't see much impact. You might recall they played City just 3 weeks ago and lost that game 4-2. I expect a similar result in this fixture.
Similar result. So definitely you're calling it a loss for Spurs.
That is correct.
Akita, let me turn to you. What do you think? What do you expect about the Spurs City game? What should we be looking at? Do you agree with Tayo or you think a different outcome for this game?
I kind of agree with him. It's a big loss not having Conte on the sideline. At least there's a job that he does. He knows how to read the game and he knows when to make substitutions when he needs to make substitutions. It's going to be a big loss. Doherty, I still do not understand the rationale behind letting him go on the free. Even if you want to let him go, at least get some small change from him. Just went on the free. That's still strange. I still cannot understand the rationale behind. And I think he's been playing well recently. So I don't understand. I don't understand Conte or maybe the owner of the club. I don't understand what they're doing. But like Ayo said, I think City is going to nick this one.
How do you think are we expecting? So lately, right, gentlemen, Guardiola has been doing a lot of changes, and I think we'll be hearing news around some disciplinary issues on the training ground, some senior players creating issues. We're actually expecting to see a lot more outgoings, right? Except for we thought it was going to be more than Cancelo, but I think Walker stayed. KDB is getting benched, which is unusual. That was very reliable player. Are we expecting what kind of formation do you think Pep will put out against Spurs? And I'm going to come to you, Charles, very soon. Wakitayo, what kind of formation do you think Pep is going to, pull out against Spurs?
I think he's going to keep to his formation. I don't think he's going to change anything. It might change some personnel in different, It probably will start the Rico boy, right? But I don't think it's going to make any special changes. Those guys understand Spurs very well. gets Kane out of the game, and that's the end of their game. Nothing else. They can't do anything. Yeah, so they know how to handle them. And I think it's just going to be a walk in the park for them. As it might even be it might be easier than we expect. So yeah. But the only thing I have with Pep, I think so. But the only problem I have with Pep is I feel Pep is starting to lose the trust of some of those guys, especially the senior guys. The Cancelo thing is still something that I really can't understand. I understand that players want to play day in, day out, but he's a better manager than that. He should know how to manage that situation. Don't tell us what's going on, underground, but we know there was an issue, that made Cancelo leave. And look at Cancelo, the first match he played for Bayern Munich. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
See the crosses and everything. Guys, he's a beautiful player. So for a player like that to say they're leaving, then there must be an issue in-house, Okay. And it's time. Pep is getting ready to go. Trust me. Might be his time to go.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this before I turn to you, Charles. Whatever is going on, I pray and I wish that it continues.
Oh my God.
I think it's to the benefit of us now. So I pray they continue to have issues. Charles, quickly. My very first question to you is this. Was Todd Boehly not aware of Doherty living on free?
Well, the truth about it is, I wasn't aware either, so probably thought he wasn't aware. But the truth about the Doherty thing, I think, just to piggyback off what Akitayo said, Pep had an issue with Cancelo. Everybody heard about it. Cancelo left. I think the Doherty thing may have been an internal issue also. We don't know. We never had a single thing, and suddenly we had he left on a free. That doesn't happen. Especially living on a free. There's something going on, and maybe Conte was able to cover, the issues better than Pep did. So Cancelo leaving is equally as big a deal as Doherty leaving. The only problem is City has backup for backup. So I don't think that will affect City as much as it will affect Spurs. And I agree with you guys, as you guys have all said in regards to results for the game. Yeah, take Kane out. They're probably going to undo, Spurs. Even with Kane in the game, they do undo Spurs. So I really don't expect much to change in regards to results. And as for starting lineup, honestly, Pep is very unpredictable right now. He may play 7-3-1 or 7-3-2, whatever. So I really cannot predict what Pep is going to play. But I know one thing for sure. If you play something weird, something random, and doesn't get results in the first half, he switch back to his regular, 4-3-3. So I expect to see a very, very good game.
Great. Well, thank you. Ayo, quick question.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the new guy, Rico Williams? Personally, I don't think he's someone that can bench Rico Lewis. Sorry, I don't think it's someone that should be benching Kyle Walker. Is that Pep saying you're not above me and you are not above the club, and if you're not doing what I want, you sit on the bench?
So I think part of it is Pep trying to freshen up his squad, right, and trying to find a way to play with Haaland in the side. I would have expected them to make some of these changes that he's making last summer, not halfway through the season, especially as he says that his goal is to win the Champions League, right? He keeps saying they haven't really achieved anything until they've won the Champions League. And I honestly don't see them making that final or winning the Champions League final this season with the kinds of changes that are happening mid-season. You're having KDB not in form and is being benched. You're having chops and changes. You're having players of the stature of Cancelo, players who can give you tactical tweaks and change the game when they're on the pitch, when you have a tight game or when you need to switch things around for, some different types of challenges. I'm finding that strange. Rico Lewis is benching Walker because of the way, and we've seen this at Arsenal as well, right? The way they build up from the back. It's that back three of Ake and whoever the two are in the middle forming that back three. And then Rico Lewis is more capable of playing in midfield. Kyle Walker isn't. Kyle Walker is a player who stays on the right predominantly. He's not comfortable in that midfield position. Yeah. And so you can have Rico Lewis do that in the middle, and you can have Nathan Ake do that on the left as well. Nathan Ake actually has the most progressive passes into midfield of the back four for City this season.
All right. Well, that wraps it up on the very first game, which is the game for the weekend, the highlight, the big game, Spurs City. I'd like to shift our attention and talk about the Chelsea Fulham game. And I know I have two Chelsea fans here, so I'm going to go with either one of you. I try not to, but I have no choice at this point. So Chelsea Fulham, how confident are you guys? You guys are spent, so I don't want to hear excuses. How much goals should we expect? You guys have Madrid, it should be a load of goals. So you think differently, Charles?
1 goal for every 100 million.
I really don't care about the number of goals. I just care about the 3 points. Honestly, we bought a new team basically, but how much time have they had to train? I don't know, that can sound like an excuse, but the fact is, Graham Potter. I'm not the biggest fan of Graham Potter. I've been saying this so from the get-go. I think with this new crop of players comes a new set of challenges, a new set of pressure that you need to deliver. You have to deliver. I don't care. At this point, he has no excuse. You understand? So at the end of the day, he needs to get his best team, which I don't think he even knows yet. Now you're giving him a new set of players, throwing him more confusion. That can be good, that can be bad. That can be good because now he has more options. It can be bad because he gets more confused because he wasn't even sure of his first team in the first place. Like I said before, the goal is not what matters to me. It's about getting the 3 points. How he does it, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to happen. I believe it's going to happen, but it's been unpredictable so far. So if it doesn't happen, I also won't be surprised. My prediction is 2-1 in favor of Chelsea.
2-1. I can type. What do you think?
Okay, so like I said before we got online, this team going to need time to gel, to blend to each other. Yes, they've spent so much money to buy big name players, but football is beyond that. You can pack all the biggest boys in the game, and if they don't understand each other, they don't have a chemistry. They will not jam. So I feel they need time together. But the game tomorrow, I think it should still stick with the old guys that's been using. Especially in the guys that have been starting the games, keep the defense line. It would be wonderful if Rich James is 100% fit, but I think he's not 100% fit. So maybe bring him in. Maybe after like 45 minutes, the second game, let him throw in some passes and stuff. I think they need to bench Kai Havertz or play him more in the midfield, like a support striker. There's too much work. He's not used to being the point man. That's not his job.
Yeah.
You have an Aubameyang. I feel he can jump. The problem is there's not been somebody providing him the passes he need. And that's what strikers feed on, passes. They feed on supply. And he's not getting the supply. And that's why they've not seen at least flashes of what he can do. So I think with the Modric, with the Noni guy, I think they probably will provide some more firepower up front, and they'll be able to give him the crosses and the passes that he needs. And I hope that Reece is a little bit fit tomorrow. I want to see what would happen when him and maybe Noni plays on the wings. Let me see the chemistry, what they can do, And I think we should win tomorrow's match. It will be tight because Fulham is not a pushover. The coach has really tried this season. He's really done like a good job on them. They play well. Willian, even old boy, yeah, he has it, So we can't say they're pushovers. So, but I see Chelsea winning maybe like a 3-1.
3-1. Okay. All right. Ayo, to you as a wrap up on this game. Are we seeing the London Galacticos, or I am exaggerating? Is there a chance for Fulham?
The London. I'm writing that down right now.
I love that term, and I think it's a fact. Todd Boehly has gone and bought Galacticos. I'm interested again, like as I've been saying, every time we're seeing Chelsea play, the last few weeks, I'm interested to see what the lineup looks like. I think Enzo Fernandez is going to go immediately into the starting lineup. They've sold Jorginho, and I think that's a direct replacement for Jorginho at the base of midfield. So let's see what else happens all over the pitch, though. Thiago Silva, I think, is sure to start. Kepa is probably guaranteed to start as well. Everywhere else, I'm curious to see what on earth Potter does. Is he going to line up with a back three? Will it be a back five? Will it be a back four? I don't know. We'll find out. Ziyech is also going to stay after his botched transfer, and he's supposed to be in the squad from the news.
Yeah,
interesting. What's your scoreline prediction?
I expect a Chelsea win as well. I mean, Modric is probably going to play from the starts this game, and I'm looking forward to seeing Modric start to deliver. I think this might be a game where we hopefully see him start to show what we know he's capable of.
scoreline prediction. You can just see.
I'll say 3-1 as well. How about that? Let's go with that.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to shift, and I want us to talk about the Villa-Leicester game. I'm going to kick off with you. Emery is doing wonders with Villa. I loved Gerrard as a player and as a coach. I just like him as who he is, a very calm midfielder and a great leader, but just couldn't do it. Emery came into the job. This was a former Arsenal manager that struggled on the job and has been lifting Villa. I know you and I have had conversations where you said it's good for the mid-table. Do you still believe it's still a mid-table manager, or you think it's somebody that can push Villa further up?
So I think we've said it. He's a good fit for Villa. Is he a top 4 manager? I still don't think so. I think he's at a club and at the level where he's, just in the top half and maybe challenging for European places. Maybe looking to get into the Europa Conference League or the Europa League. Let's see how that goes. I expect a win for Villa in this game. Leicester is still struggling. They seem to have found some form before the World Cup, but they've been struggling again. They lost a lot of their friendlies during the break, and they're not doing so well since the restart as well. So I expect Villa to win this game, but let's see.
Okay, and no chance for what? Do you see Brendan Rodgers surviving the rest of the season? I mean, he survived the half of it already. You see him staying and having another chance to rebuild?
I think he will. I think Leicester is going through maybe a quiet period. They are not investing as much in the squad. I know they spend a lot of money on their training ground recently. And he's talked a lot about how he hasn't maybe necessarily gotten the support that he needs, but they're clear of relegation for the moment. We know it's very tight down there, and if this kind of loss of form keeps up again, they could get dragged back in. If they don't get relegated, I expect he'll stay.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Charles, I want you to talk us through the Wolves Liverpool game. I know where you stand with Liverpool, and that's why I want you to address the Wolves pool game. Is this still another swing low, up and down pendulum, or you see Pool coming out strong on this one and continue to go up from there?
Wolves.
Please, let's bring up the remaining fixtures for our viewers.
Wolves Liverpool. It's like the Pep situation. What I said about Pep. It's very unpredictable. Just as Pep is unpredictable, the two teams are very unpredictable. Is what I'm trying to say. Liverpool right now, they're like a shift in identity. They're a different team from what we saw last year or saw last season. And Wolves are like basically rebuilding. They are regrowing with the new coach, Lopetegui. So they are unpredictable also. And honestly, that game can go either way. I expect Liverpool to come all out. I think there's been a semi-break so far with this whole FA Cup thing going on. So I think Liverpool may be able to push. Push doesn't mean they're going to win. They're probably going to push and get a draw. I do think because Wolves, their biggest problem is up front, in my opinion, is Diego Costa is not really scoring. He's a shadow of his old self. So if they can drop him and try starting maybe Cunha, I think there may be a chance to, that can help them probably beat Liverpool. But at the end of the day, I'm predicting maybe a 1-1 draw for the game.
Okay, and I think this is going to be the 4th time, these teams are playing. They met, Wolves forced a draw. Actually, I would say Liverpool forced a draw, and I think that was the FA Cup that eventually Wolves lost to Liverpool. and I think they played earlier in the league. So this is I think they know themselves by now, and we'll see how the game works out. Coming to you, Akintayo, talk me through the game Brentford Southampton. What do you expect? Are we going to see something surprising from this game, or are we going to see a very high-flying Brentford dominating the game with their physicality?
Honestly, that game I think it's a balanced game. Southampton on a normal day, if they come out, we know what they can do. They've pulled off surprises with games like Man City before and stuff. So I think they have the stuff. They have what
They
they
beat
need to deliver. They beat. Thank you. So you can't predict. You can't predict what they will do. You never can predict. So I feel that game is going to be tight. It's going to be between two middle level teams. And I don't know. I think I hear swinging towards Brentford, especially because guy that Ivan Tony. That guy is a good striker. It's one striker I don't mind getting it. So me, I see him as in the mode of a Didier Drogba. He fights for ball. He has everything. So
that's a big shoe, man.
He should be able to help. Yeah. And the other guy, the French guy, Mboum or something. Yeah, that guy too is. Yeah, they have good guys. If game goes the way they should go, I think Brentford should nick that.
Awesome. Ayo.
Yeah.
Brighton, Bournemouth. That's a South Coast clash. What do you expect to see? I am looking forward to that game. I hope Caicedo returns to the lineup. I want to see how he's going to play. I want to see how he's able to come up and manage his emotions after that very funny saga towards the deadline day. What do you expect? Talk us through Brighton, Bournemouth.
So I'm curious to see. I think he will have to go straight into the lineup, especially because we've heard that McAllister is injured, suspended, right? He's picked up 5 yellow cards. And, they start to get light in midfield if Caicedo doesn't play. Bournemouth have signed a raft of players as well this January. So they're likely to have maybe some changes in their starting lineup. I think Brighton have been doing really well this season, though I expect Brighton to come out on top in that game. All the same.
Awesome. Scoreline prediction?
I'd go for a 2-1 win for Brighton.
2-1 for Brighton.
Yeah.
All right.
Mitoma is playing well on the wings. Solid match as well.
Did you guys see that goal against Liverpool on Sunday?
That was classic. And he's doing it so often now that it's no longer, you can't just say he's having a good run of form.
Good run, yeah.
It's not a fluke. It's not fluke.
That wasn't a fluke. That goal that he scored was not a fluke.
It was a beautiful
exactly
goal.
what he was.
It was a beautiful goal. Just to add something though. I just said Brighton, Bournemouth 2-1. It makes it seem like Bournemouth has a chance. I actually don't think Bournemouth has a chance. I think Brighton will crush Bournemouth like maybe 3-0.
I don't want to agree. Charles, I don't want to agree with you.
But you should. Because the Brighton was here right now is so informed.
I don't want to agree with you. I think Bournemouth,
Bournemouth gets surprising results. That's the thing I've seen.
The two teams are more or less like I see them as championship.
Well, Brighton is number 6.
They know themselves.
Brighton is 6.
Brighton is targeting an European football next season. In case you don't know, because that's one of the things that came out of the Caicedo issue.
That doesn't translate into winning a match, though.
But again, for me, right? Look at the games before now, right? This is the team that beats Liverpool 3-0, right?
Beat Chelsea.
And they still beat Liverpool in the FA Cup.
And they still beat them again, right? So, come on.
But it's always something that they can. All these small teams sometimes they beat the big teams, but when they face themselves, they always mess up. Because the team they play against, they know themselves. They know the pattern they play. They all do this long ball and all this stuff, and they know how themselves. So it's always a different ball game when it comes to this. I call them mid-table teams or lower teams when they face each other. Their game is always different.
What's your prediction, Brighton?
I see a draw. I see a draw.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I see Charles believes a very high-scoring game.
3-0.
And Brighton winning by a very big margin. I all believe it might be close, but Brighton's going to win. We'll leave it at that. Well, gentlemen, I'll remind you of your predictions. Man United, Crystal Palace. Charles, what's going on here? Man United is doing fantastic. Fantastic. And they just brought in a guy from Bundesliga to replace Eriksen, right? Are they still going to be flying? I think so. I hope so.
Yeah,
what do you expect?
Technically, Man United is not really doing great. I think Rashford is doing great. I think that's really what's happening. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to make it okay. Man United is doing great, but I think the person who is doing great in that team right now, who is doing well, I guess Man United is doing good. Rashford is doing great. I'm trying to separate the two. What Rashford is doing right now is in the form of his life. The last game I watched him play, and he made a move between like 3 defenders. Like he's playing on a high that it's unimaginable. So to answer your question, Man United versus Crystal Palace tends to come, they're trying to pull muscles, but recently they've not really been at their best form. So I think Man United is going to take advantage of that. And I actually think, trying to offend you guys now, if anyone is going to upset Arsenal to the trophy this year, it may not actually be City. It may be Man United.
But what are you talking about? It's over. We already played them home and away.
It's not about you playing them.
Okay. You're talking about them catching up.
Yes. Because the way they're playing right now, they have to
but I don't see that.
And that's why I felt it was so important that we won that game against them.
We won that last.
It put that gap and it set them back a little bit. It put some decent gap.
That momentum was too much.
But considering we have 18 games to go.
There's still a lot of football to play.
There's still a lot of football to play. And the way Man United is playing right now, Crystal Palace, if they can win these 2 games this weekend, which I think they can, there's going to be just things in the media people are going to be talking about. So my prediction for that game is 3-1 for Man United.
Let me take your prediction, Ayo and Akitayo, before I say something about that game.
Ayo,
your prediction.
For the Man U game?
Yeah, for the Man U game. Just your prediction.
I expect a 2-0 win for Man U as well.
2-0 win. I can tell you were shaking your head. Why?
I expect a shock.
Okay. Why? It's Crystal Palace.
It's Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace shocked Man City home and away last season. Crystal Palace
last season.
They've already shocked Man U this season.
They shocked Man U this season.
It was a balance game.
That's the old Man U.
It was a 1-1.
My old Man U. The only difference in that Man U, we keep talking about Rashford. The key person in that Man U is Casemiro. Casemiro. That's the key guy. If not for that guy in that midfield, Man U is as dead as anything. Look at their match against you. They were losing balls in the midfield because they didn't have Casemiro. And that's the only person that I feel is really, he's the heart of that midfield. He's the one helping the midfield, the defense, and he pops up and scores goals from where you don't expect. So I feel, I might be wrong, but I feel there might be a shocker for Manchester United in that match.
All right, Akitayo with
good point. By the way, is Zaha back for Crystal Palace?
I don't think so.
Zaha is one of the most senior and experienced side that can give Crystal Palace
the edge.
The other players struggle to attack. Eduardo has that body. Mateta is big. I like him. They are slowly coming into the team to dominate and stand. Create their own. Make a name for themselves. So hopefully Zaha is back. But I agree with you completely. Rashford is in the form of his life. I agree. But the problem with Man U is that it's kind of like a one-man attack. And if Rashford is not performing, then they are struggling to deliver, right?
Martial is back now as well, by the way, guys.
Yeah, Martial
is back, right? Okay, so that's good for them. Because
the Man U attack
Eriksen also been out. Eriksen also been out. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. Yeah.
I agree with you completely that the most intelligent player on that squad is Casemiro because he reads all the interception and he reads and he breaks and he doesn't waste time. And that's the problem with all these
everywhere on the pitch.
This is a senior player that knows that I don't need to waste time. I need to make that decision in 3 seconds. compared to players like Anthony. Stop showboating. Stop
Please,
telling us
let's
how
not talk about Anthony.
make a decision. But let's keep over that. But I agree with you in terms of that intelligence. Quickly, I'd like to wrap up. We talked about Man U. Man U has 2 games back to back within three days. Do we see this fixture affecting Man U, considering that they also have Barcelona coming up? I think a week after this, which is their Europa League. Is the coach going to struggle with selections here to prioritize against Palace, prioritize against Leeds that will come out attacking? We know the way Leeds play, and they have Barcelona next. Ayo, let me quickly take you on this. Man United
I think that Leeds game is actually the game Man U might struggle. I think that's the game that I might expect a surprise, especially with buying Weston McKennie. I think Weston McKennie is going to bring a new spark of life to Leeds. We know what he's capable of, especially in popping up in the opposition's box with unexpected goals. And I think that's the game they might struggle. Like you said, they're the only team still in 4 competitions this season, and they're going to have games every 3 days for the rest of the season. Back to back to back to back. It is bound to catch up with them at some point. I also think Rashford and Casemiro are their main players, and I don't know if Rashford will be able to play every 3 days. We know his injury record.
Do you see Man U winning this game? If you see them, what's your prediction?
Crystal Palace, I expect them winning. Leeds is a different ballgame altogether. I think that might be a 2-2 draw.
Lastly, Charles, as we wrap up, Nottingham Forest Leeds. This is a team that I don't understand the strategy. They had 23 players coming way before at the beginning of the season. January window, we've had like 7. Jojo Shelby just came in, and surprisingly, Ayu is back. Nottingham Forest versus Leeds. What is going on with Nottingham Forest? Do you see them winning? I know they are surviving. They are out of relegation. I think they might escape. What's your thought? Or do you think they will sink back into relegation?
Well,
Charles.
You said it for Nottingham Forest. I also said it for Leeds. Nottingham Forest is just like a child with too many toys and doesn't know which one to play with. So
isn't that Chelsea?
Confused. They are really confused. So unfortunately, they are adding more petrol to the fire because they already had too many players, already had those issues, and then they bought 7 or 6 more players during January transfer window. So I don't see them gelling. I don't see them even knowing what their first team is. I don't see them getting any results. Leeds, on the other hand, I was going to talk about Weston McKennie. Ayo beat me to it. Weston McKennie is going to bring a new look to Leeds because we already know what Leeds brings to the table.
With Tyler Adams.
Exactly. We already know what Leeds brings to the table with all the, powerful energy Leeds running back and forth. I don't see Nottingham Forest handling that. And for that game, I'm going to predict 2-0 in favor of Leeds.
Lost Rodrigo. They've lost Rodrigo. So that might be a problem for them too.
Is Bamford fit?
Bamford is available.
Is available, but it's not totally fit yet. Yeah, so that's a problem too. So you can't, if you don't have someone to score for you. Well, maybe the Gnotto, or what's the name of that guy? The black guy.
Gnotto.
Yeah, maybe that might deliver for them. He's a good player, But that match will be tight. But I don't know.
You think Nottingham Forest stands a chance?
Anyway, look, Nottingham Forest don't play fantastic football. They don't play fancy football. They cross and not cross and play. That's how they play, and they get their points. So whatever works for them, works for them.
Gentlemen, I appreciate you. I would just say this as a wrap up. They drew Chelsea the first game after the New Year. They came back and forced Chelsea to a draw. It was a 1-1 game.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
it might not be a fantastic game, but it's about the point. Thank you guys for coming up and on this session for today. We will meet again same time next week and talk about the upcoming games for the week. Arsenal is on top. I pray we stay on top to the very end. Thank you.
Amen.
Bye bye.
See you guys.
See you guys.